My presentation is on child abuse, which is very important, a thing that we should talk about in our society. So, let's start with what is child abuse. Well, according to childhelp.org, child abuse is when a parent or caregiver, whether through action or failing to act, causes injury, death, emotional harm, or risk of serious harm to a child. Every year, more than 3 million reports of child abuse are made in the United States alone. In the world, a report of child abuse is issued every 10 seconds. These statistics and information is very, very startling. So let's start with what are the types of child abuse, right? Well, the types of child abuse are broken down into 4 different categories: physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse / psychological abuse, and neglect. Physical abuse is the one I'm going to start with first because when people think of child abuse, the first thing that usually comes to their mind is the physical abuse aspect of it. So, physical abuse, according to the NSPCC, is deliberately hurting a child by hitting, kicking, poisoning, burning, slapping, or throwing objects at them, causing injuries such as bruises, broken bones, burns, cuts, scrapes, scars, head injuries, and abdominal injuries. Spotting some of these physical abuse is, you can spot it by seeing things such as bruises, cuts, scrapes. Also, physical abuse often causes the child to be afraid of adults, be very shy around adults, and nervous, and usually this causes the child to have low self-esteem. Sexual abuse. Child sexual abuse is a form of child abuse that includes sexual activity with a minor. This includes things such as exposing oneself to a minor, fondling, obscene phone calls, text messages, or digital interaction, producing, owning, or sharing inappropriate images or movies of children, sex of any kind with a minor, sex trafficking, and any other sexual conduct that is harmful to a child's mental, emotional, or physical welfare. Some signs of sexual abuse include items such as changes in hygiene, such as refusing to bathe or bathing excessively. Depression and suicidal thoughts usually occur. Children that are victims of sexual abuse usually have nightmares. Their grades will begin to drop significantly in school. As you can see from the RAINN or RAIN graph that I have in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, over 90% of victims know the perpetrator of the act, which is startling. Emotional abuse is the ongoing emotional maltreatment of a child. It's sometimes called psychological abuse and can seriously damage a child's emotional health and development. Emotional child abuse involves words and actions of the abusers constantly rejecting, ignoring, belittling, dominating, and criticizing the victims. This one, in my opinion, is the least noticeable because most of the effects are mental effects and on the inside. Usually you don't see bruises and things because of emotional abuse. Emotional abuse will include items such as insulting, threatening violence, even without carrying out the threats, allowing children to witness the physical or emotional abuse of another, allowing children to use illegal drugs, excessive demands on a child's performance, never telling a child that you love them, never allowing the child to be enough. Children that have been emotionally abused before usually experience and show some of these symptoms. They'll be overly affectionate towards strangers or people. They'll usually trust people even if they don't know them very well. They will lack confidence or become wary or anxious. They won't appear to have a close relationship with their parent at all. They're usually, if in public, they won't talk to their parent. They'll just kind of stand silently next to the parent. They'll be aggressive and nasty towards other children and even animals. They'll lack social skills or have few, if any, friends at all. And they usually will have a struggle controlling their very strong emotions because the only emotions they've seen at home are usually negative. According to the NSPCC, neglect is the ongoing failure to meet a child's basic needs. This means that kids may not get the love, care, and attention they need from their parents. A kid may be left with no food to eat, have no clean clothes to wear, no adequate shelter, no supervision or health care. As you can see from the NSPCC graph in the bottom right-hand corner, neglect is overwhelmingly the largest type of child abuse that there is, and it affects more people than any other type of child abuse. The NSPCC states that a child who's neglected will often suffer from other abuse as well. Neglect is dangerous and can cause serious damage, such as having poor hygiene, which will cause them to smell, look dirty, and wear dirty clothes. These kids will have poor physical health, such as being alarmingly too skinny. Poor mental health, such as causing depression and anxiety. Some other signs that a child may be neglected, they won't be showing up to school. They'll get involved in criminal activity. A 2017 NSPCC study found that 1 in every 10 children experience some form of child neglect. So now that you have a better understanding of what child abuse is, how do you help? Well, if you know someone or have suspicions that someone is being abused, according to Prevent Child Abuse America, you should tell a trustworthy adult, such as a teacher or a counselor. Support the child by talking to them and trying to help in any way that you can. Call or have them call the child abuse hotline at 1-800-4-A-CHILD. Raise awareness by donating to charities and spreading the word. Educate others about child abuse, about what it is, what it causes, and what different types there are. Child abuse is a very, very big problem in America, and it's something that children can't really help and fix, but adults can. So I encourage everyone to try to help. If you have any questions, these are my references if you'd like to visit any of these web pages. Also, you can email me at any time if you have any more questions, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, or at least point you in the direction that you can find some answers. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.